Okay, hello there everybody. This is Silversoul1k.
And this is Omnicron25.
And, we just figured that, we both didn't really have much to do.
And we're bored.
Yeah. So, we figured we'd, collaborate together on a, fanfic.
Because, to be quite honest, God Particle, second chapter's rendering, and he's getting kind of bored of his fanfic at the moment. He needs to do something else for a while.
Yeah, I really do. I really do. Anyway, this, fanfic we're going to be reading is it's a shipping fanfic. Now, I know that whole idea just excites Omni to such a degree he can't put it into words.
And I do not like the word shipping. I prefer love interest because, okay, shipping is just a complete blasphemy to the English language, first of all.
It's called an abbreviation.
An abbreviation? It's butchering.
It's abbreviation, dude. Shipping. Relationshipping.
I don't like the word shipping. I really don't. I don't like the word shipping in general. And whenever I think shipping, I think of postal shipping, and then I think going postal. Yeah. As in, like, Terry Pratchett.
And then you're going to your little Terry Pratchett world. Okay, this is MLP world. This is MLP reading.
I know.
If you want to read Terry Pratchett out loud, do that yourself.
That would get... No, that'd get too weird.
Yeah, it would get a bit weird, you see. Anyway, trying to just refocus us. Sorry about that little rant. I just, I really enjoy shipping fanfics if they're done well. And Omni really, really doesn't.
Hey, I don't mind shipping as long as it doesn't get too intimate.
As long as it doesn't turn from ship to clop.
Yeah, although I do have to admit some characters are overused in shipping, but, you know, it's going to happen eventually. Especially with the small main cast that MLP has.
Yeah, this is true. With the small main cast, they're going to be overdone a little bit. Anyway, this fanfic is Dressing in Style by SugarPesticide.
That's an interesting name, by the way.
I really like his name. This is a shipping of Rainbow Dash and Rarity, so it's going to be interesting.
It kind of makes me wonder what's going to happen. It kind of weirds me out, but let's just see what happens and where it goes.
Yeah, I enjoy Rarity Dash shippings. I can't find very many of them. I enjoy them for a very specific reason that I'm not going to get into in a recording. If you want to know, inbox me, I'll tell you, but I'm not going to get into this reading because that's a whole other topic.
Well, let's begin. I will be doing Rainbow Dash's voice, and you will be doing Rarity's.
Yeah.
And then, who did we decide on Twilight Sparkle again? Me or you?
I think you were going to do Twi.
Yeah, because I can say bigger words easier.
Yeah, I think you'll do Twi.
And then you can do Spike, because you're better at those kid voices than I am.
I'll do Spike. And narration?
Narration, we're just going to do paragraph by paragraph.
Okay, do narration paragraph by paragraph, switch off when someone talks.
Although, I think on this first part here, since it's all on italics, I think it's just one person.
It's Dashy.
Okay, I guess I'll...
reading.
Okay, I'll do it then.
Okay, and, here we go.
Enjoy, everyone. Daring Do stepped out onto the swaying dock, feeling it sway crookedly beneath her hooves. She waved her thanks to the captain of the little boat, then turned and trotted down towards the small collection of flickering lights, hoping that the sea village would have free room somewhere. It wasn't that she got seasick, but it was rather easy to feel tired when a pony had nothing to do but study a hoofful of old papers for hours at a time. She remembered wryly how her friend, Professor Tabula Rasa, had stressed just how important this expedition was. The treasure was supposed to have some mysterious power, and the last thing any pony needed was for Awhile to get his hands on it. When she asked why this needed more importance attached to it than other missions, the good professor had swelled up and stated some of the most striking words she had ever heard. "Are you even pretending to listen to me, Rainbow Dash?"
The blue Pegasus blinked. That didn't seem right somehow.
Huh?
There was a short sigh, and the Pegasus's... I have a problem with that word. Pegasus's attention was drawn upward to the exasperated purple unicorn standing before her.
Rainbow, everything's all ready with the machine. It's been all ready for the past 5 minutes. Yeah, that's great, Rainbow Dash said, waving an idle hoof. Give me a moment, will ya? It's just getting to the action here. Well, more like the setup, I guess, but it's an action setup. Rainbow, please. Ertie's going to be here any moment now, and she'll be very disappointed if we can't get a down spiral diamond quickly enough for her to complete her headpiece in time.
Rainbow Dash raised an eyebrow.
Hello? Fastest Pegasus in Ponyville here. I can get hooked up to that thing before you know it. Chill out, Twilight.
Twilight Sparkle glanced over her shoulder at the rickety-looking machine looming behind her. The strange contraption's gnarled, bent-over shape made it resemble an aging tree. Yet it was tall enough and broad enough to blot out most of the view of the library's interior.
Do you know where you're supposed to go? Where I'm supposed to go? Rainbow repeated. Her eyes darted over its various components. Aside from the roller coaster-like track darting through the large holes in its structure, she had to admit that none of it looked even the faintest bit familiar to her. She yawned and tapped her chin almost thoughtfully, deciding that it was too weird to make any sense. Nope, can't say I do.
Twilight's horn flared up with violet magic.
Well then, I guess I'd better show you. What? Oh, come on! Rainbow squirmed as a similarly colored glow lifted her up into the air, depositing her onto the track's highest point before dissipating. I could have totally flown up here by myself. Well, I'm sure you could have if you weren't so into your book,
the unicorn replied wryly. With a bit more concentration, she readjusted her friend's hooves so that she could strap them securely into the miniature wheeled platform attached to the track.
Hey, that wasn't just any book. That was Daring Do in the Cove of the Candles. Seriously, Twilight, I'm already on book 8. Settling down onto her stomach, Rainbow looked down wistfully at the desired book, which was still tantalizingly open to the page she had left it at. I'm only a couple pages into it, and it's still way more interesting than this gigantic doohickey. It's not a doohickey,
Twilight began, only to be interrupted by a sudden knock at the door.
Huh? Oh yes, come in,
she called, trotting about hastily as she made another last-minute check over on the random assortment of levers and blinking lights.
That's probably Rarity. Rainbow cast her eyes up towards the top of the machine, which unhelpfully blocked her view of the ceiling with its intermittent puffs of steam. Gee, really?
Seconds later, a white unicorn stepped inside, her elegant violet mane and smooth velvet saddlebags bouncing slightly with each hooffall into the library. She soon skidded to a halt, however, and her eyes widened at the sight of the mechanical monstrosity. Rainbow couldn't help but snicker at her astounded expression. My goodness,
the newcomer said once she had found her voice. She poked at its unmoving side with a tentative hoof, while looking up at it warily as if fearing it may suddenly collapse.
Did you really build this in 2 hours, Twilight?
I sure did, Twilight exclaimed, beaming proudly. It would have been an hour and a half, but then some dragon thought it would be a good idea to go on an ice cream splurge. Again.
A pained groan floated from the direction of the kitchen. Oh dear,
Rarity said, stifling a sympathetic giggle.
I do hope poor Spike is all right. He's done a marvelous job with the metalwork over here.
Hey, I helped too,
Rainbow remarked, trying to dart down and grab some recognition for herself. She failed to do so, however, since the machine hadn't been set into motion yet.
I put all these holes in it, and that's definitely the most important part.
Yes, I can see that, Rarity agreed, and Rainbow scowled at a hint of amusement in her voice. Oh, this is just marvelous, Twilight. Positively stunning. But you really didn't have to go to such lengths to set this up for me. When I said I needed a down spiral diamond, I was thinking more along the lines of heading down to Tartarus and finding one on my own. I didn't mean to trouble any pony to going to the lengths of creating this.
I know, but I took the liberty of doing some research on my own on them, Twilight replied, levitating a pair of goggles and stretching them over a somewhat irritated Rainbow's eyes. It turns out they can't survive long in the sunlight without being properly cut and processed, and they can't be cut and processed without being cured and distilled in ectoplasm first, and since ectoplasm would draw all the monsters toward you, it would be way too dangerous in general. Yeah, Rainbow added with a smirk. And you wouldn't last very long down there anyway. I mean, how long do you think you could trek through all that mud and ash, or whatever, without fainting? What Rainbow means to say,
Twilight cut in with an exasperated glare,
is that we understand how important it is that you get the diamond as soon as possible. Besides, what are friends for? You've gone out of your way for us more times than I can ever remember. So, it's the least we can do to return the favor, right?
Rarity seemed to be at a loss for words. Putting a hoof to her chest somewhat dramatically, she smiled at Twilight. Well, thank you, both of you. She turned her gaze upwards towards Rainbow, who was astonished to see a hint of wetness in her eyes. Then the moment was gone, and she seemed to recollect herself. She called out towards the kitchen, Thanks to all 3 of you. No problem, Rarity, Spike called weakly back. Well, I suppose that since you insist on doing this, I might as well avoid Tartarus,
Rarity went on with a light laugh.
Is there anything I can do to help?
I don't think so.
Twilight was staring up at her creation with a rather unnecessary level of fondness.
All we need to do is flip the master switch. Rainbow Dash will provide the necessary energy, and then I can take it from there. You're welcome,
Rainbow Dash said to no pony in particular. Very well. There was a long moment of silence. A fly buzzed somewhere unseen, and Twilight awkwardly began to telekinetically draw the curtains, cutting off the dusty rays of sunlight one by one. Twilight,
Rarity finally said hesitantly,
is this, project, is it safe?
Most likely,
was Twilight's response.
From my research, it doesn't look as though it has actually been done before. But I've done the calculations, and there's only a 4.3% chance of spontaneous combustion. Wait, this hasn't ever been done before? Ever?
Rainbow's eyes darted from one section of the suddenly terrifying machine to the next, not quite able to hide her sudden surge of panic.
Technically, this has never been done before Successfully.
Yeah, Twilight, that's certainly an encouraging phrase. If you're trying to boost Rainbow's confidence,
That's not a way to do it.
yeah.
Twilight corrected herself. Once the room was perfectly dark, she turned to the control panel, nestled comfortably at the machine's base. But there's really no need to worry about it, Rainbow. I've done extensive study into past attempts, and it seems that their main flaw was their insistence on adding 3 drops of nitroglycerin to the reaction chamber mix instead of 2. If we can avoid tearing too many gaping holes through other dimensions, this should work perfectly.
Rainbow bit her lip.
Tearing holes?
Twilight, dear, this might not be such a good...
Oh, it'll be perfectly fine. Would I really put any of my good friends through something dangerous?
Rarity and Rainbow exchanged a look at that.
Okay, let's do this. Twilight pressed a few buttons excitedly. A low whine emanated from the depths of the contraption as she hastily put a pair of nearby goggles on herself. A few lights began to flash from the random sections, electing a set-aside nod from the purple unicorn. Get ready to fly, Rainbow Dash. Oh, and Rarity, you might want to find some cover.
Why would I...
Twilight flipped the master switch.
The whining noise abruptly turned very shrill, echoing off the library walls and causing everybody to cringe. The wheeled platform began to move, rolling down the steep track with quickly increasing speed, and with gritted teeth, Rainbow Dash unfolded her wings and began to flap them as if she were actually flying, rather than strapped tightly down.
As she took a nosedive through the wide hole into the depths of the machine, she was surrounded by total darkness. She felt herself abruptly pull out of the drop, swinging around into a tight loop with a gradual upward incline. She pulled more and more deeply with each wing beat, fighting the tug of gravity as she pulled up and up and up, and each loop grew wider and wider until she was suddenly shot out through another hole, emerging near the top of the machine. For a couple of seconds, she took in the blurred sight of Rarity and Twilight watching intently from a makeshift shelter behind a bookcase, with Twilight's goggles reflecting the machine's glow. Then she plummeted into the blackness again, and they were gone. Heh, that wasn't so dangerous,
she thought, narrowing her eyes in pride.
15 seconds for 1 lap? I can do better than that. Let's see how fast this thing can go.
You know, from Dashy, that really doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, we don't see this ending well.
No, not at all.
Spinning in another tight spiral, the blue Pegasus lowered her head down to the platform, letting the track lead her up and around again. The rustling of her wings echoed off the machine's interior, and she could feel a cool breeze being left in her wake. The machine's whining, she realized, couldn't be heard inside there at all. Weird.
Flying out from the top again, she found herself grinning at a dizzying rush. Faster! She called out.
Faster! Twilight agreed. I just stole your line.
Faster!
Twilight agreed gleefully, and then she was lost to Rainbow again.
On the 3rd lap, she noticed a bit of light within the machine. For the first time, a bluish spark dancing in place in mid-air, right at the center of the spiraling track. Normally, it would have been unimpressively dim, but in the darkness, it cast strange shadows that shifted and swayed as Rainbow darted around again. Its glow grew a bit stronger on the 4th lap, though, and on the 5th lap, it was nearly as bright as the library's lighting, forming a pale streak that danced before her eyes every time she looped around it. Ectoplasm!
Twilight announced as Rainbow began the 6th loop. Wait, what?
What she saw upon plunging in nearly made her wings lock up in surprise. A vent had opened up beneath the spark. and a thick jet of greenish steam was beginning to shoot out of it. Her mouth hung open for a few seconds, catching the air, making her cheeks blow out. But then she quickly snapped it shut, hoping that wasn't going to plug up her airway or something. "Rainbow!"
Twilight said when she next emerged.
The Pegasus gasped for air. "What?"
But Twilight's words were swallowed up by the there's something. Sorry about that, everyone. But Twilight's words were swallowed up the hissing steam as Rainbow. I knew there was something wrong with that. I'm sorry about the tangent on it, but there was something wrong with that.
Yeah, I noticed it too. I was kind of like, huh?
I'm sorry. If you've listened to any of my other readings, you realize I have problems whenever I hit little bumps like that.
And I just smoothed mine out.
Yeah. But Twilight's words were swallowed up by the hissing steam as Rainbow dove into its depths again. The spark was now a long, brilliant sliver of light, and it seemed to be greedily soaking up the distilled ectoplasm. It looked rather distorted through her goggles, but the sight wasn't quite so impressive right now.
When she shot out again, and used the opportunity to catch her breath, she heard Twilight shout her name again. "What?" was her irritable response, but again she missed the reply. "Oh, I'm going to so lay it on some pony for this."
By now, the light was practically blinding, and she had to squint in order to see the rainbow trail that was now being left in her wake. She allowed herself a little smirk, but it quickly melted into a look of shock as a contingency of knives supported by mechanical arms burst into view, weaving in and out to cut easily into the shiny thing emerging from within the light. She yelped as one was pulled out of her way just in front of her, missing her muzzle by inches.
The outside flashed again in a blur, and she would use the opportunity to roar, "Twilight Sparkle! Rainbow, don't!"
By now she was going so fast the shapes were swimming in her vision, distorted and unrecognizable even from anything in her dreams. The light was like a miniature sun, blazing within the colors of her own rainbow, glittering cruelly off the dancing blades, and she was forced to squeeze her eyes shut, but the shapes still twisted around against the backdrop of her eyelids. The now shrieking steam drowned out the familiar whistling of wind in her ears.
Dizziness gripped her. Gravity pulled on her from all directions at once. The shapes darted around her and through her. Trying to shake herself, she urged her wings to flap faster and faster. She had to end this. She had to end this. "Don't hold your breath!"
Her body seemed to have been waiting for that senseless command. She gulped for air and pulled out of the dive yet again, in spite of all the ectoplasm still jutting up within the spiraling track.
It was then a dazzling chromatic flash, brighter than anything yet, exploded outwards with force strong enough to push the speeding Pegasus right off the track, smashing her through the machine's wall and into the libraries. Feeling as if she were still spinning around, she heard herself groan as she slid down to the floor, crumpling into an exhaustive heap.
The machine's whine was beginning to die down, allowing panicked voices to reach her ringing eardrums. "Bodash, are you all right?"
No, this wasn't supposed to happen.
"Fire extinguisher, right here, Twilight."
"I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry."
"Rainbow, can you hear us? Rainbow, are you all right?"
She looked up dizzily into the trio of blurring rarities, all leaning down towards her with horrified concern. They all reached out and touched her forehead with 3 white hooves, but she could only feel one. Weird. She must have hit something pretty hard. "I'm alright, Rarity,"
she assured her, grinning weakly.
"Chill out. All 3 of ya. I'm fine. I don't know if your diamond thingy's okay, though. You might want to check that out, darling."
With that, she spiraled into unconsciousness, barely registering the unicorn's shocked exclamation.
Okay, alright.
That is the end of the chapter.
So, Soul, what'd you think of that?
I don't like darling. That's not a rainbow line.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
There's a problem there.
I've never heard Rainbow Dash exactly dazed for any amount of time like that either, so it was kind of hard to speak for her like that.
Yeah, I stole one of your lines.
I know. I'm just like, well, that could have gone perfectly fine, though.
Yeah, well, get over it. I stole your line, and I pointed out to the crowd that I stole your line.
I'll steal your next soul.
You'll steal my what?
I'll steal your soul, Soul.
You can't steal my soul.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You had to pay it to the Grim Reaper the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, that's why it's only silver. He downgraded me. I used to be gold.
Anyways,
that's a bad pun.
Leave reviews and comments as always. This is actually the only one I've done so far that has not included a really serious mannerism that I've done it in. So I hope you all liked it, and as for Soul, he always does it casual, so this is a bit more professional than normal.
Yeah, I'm not very fond of... I can do it. I can do professional. I don't like it. I do not enjoy professional. That's why I choose to avoid professionalism.
Hey, but it sounds a lot better, though.
But I don't enjoy being professional.
You don't even like wearing nice clothes.
I don't like wearing nice clothes.
I don't see how you've got rarity on the exam.
I don't either. And we're still... I'm sorry, all of us are still trying to figure out how he got Pinkie Pie.
Well, anyways, this is Omnicron 25.
And this is Silversoul1k.
Signing out.
Yep.